I recently started using a new feature on my YouTube videos, and I was thinking that a lot of people might not know how to use this feature or might not even know that it exists. So I thought I'd make a short video showing what this feature is and how to use it. So for example, here's one of my videos. It's one I posted a few days ago. This is the condensed or shorter version of my Blue Cave video. And if you click on the video, you'll notice that something will pop up down here at the bottom. And this is the part of the new feature. So I just clicked on the video, and now you see that there is a line down here with some text. And it says, I head for the Blue Cave near Mesod, and it has a time code on the left and then an arrow on the right. And this is a feature in YouTube called chapters. YouTube had something similar to this in the past, but they've updated it and made it much better. What this means is that if you see this line at the bottom of a YouTube video, it means that the person who made the video divided it up into different chapters and gave each chapter a time code and a heading. And using these chapter headings, if you're watching the video, you can now jump ahead and backwards. You can jump forwards and backwards through the video very quickly, going from chapter to chapter to chapter, just like how you could flip through the chapters of a book. And there are two different ways of doing this. There is a way to do it right here on the screen. So if you see this line, it means that chapters are available. If you don't see that line, then that means that there are no chapters in that video. In this case, I did create some chapters because you can see the line. And if you grab this red dot to scroll through the video and drag it forward, you can see the chapter headings will change. There's that little preview, and then it says, I head for the Blue Cave. Now I'm at the next chapter, arrival at the Blue Cave. Go a bit forward. It changed, entering the Blue Cave. So you can quickly scan ahead through the video and you can see the chapter headings change, so you know exactly where you are in the video at all times. Plus, as I move along this progress bar on the bottom, you can see it changing. And at the exact moment where it switches from one chapter to the next, the phone vibrates a little bit. If you're holding the phone or you're holding your finger against the screen, you'll be able to feel it. They call that haptic feedback, I think, in the world of smartphones. So as I get to this point where it changes, right there, I feel a little vibration, so I can release it, and I know that I'm right at the beginning of the next chapter. So right on the video screen, it's now very easy to zoom back and forth, and you can see and feel exactly when each new chapter begins. And you can see here on the progress bar, these red lines represent individual chapters. And that little black bar you see indicates where one chapter ends and the next one begins. So if I want to go to this chapter in the video, I can see where I want to go, grab the red bar, pull it in that direction. This chapter, you can see that progress bar is bigger. You can see the name of the chapter. And when I get to the exact beginning, boom, there's a little bit of a vibration. So I know exactly where to let go. I can hit play, and I know I'll be starting right at the beginning of that chapter. Here's the main entrance to the cave. So I find that extremely handy. In the old days, you could do this with timestamps. So for example, if I look at the description to this video, you do that by clicking on this arrow, it opens up the video description, and here you can see the timestamps and the chapter headings. And of course, I did this when I made the video. And each of these is a time code. And when you enter a time code in this format with the colon in between, then YouTube automatically converts it into a clickable link. So in the old days, you could open the video description, see these time codes, and then you could click on them, and you can see up above that every time I click on one, the video jumps to that point. The next chapter is Bats in the Cave at 11:12. If I click on that, the video jumped ahead to 11:12, the beginning of the chapter, Bats in the Cave. So this is how it worked in the past, but it wasn't very convenient. For one thing, this is what you normally see in YouTube, and the time codes aren't visible. People don't even know that they're there. And in order to use them, you have to open the description, scan the description, move up and down to see whether there are time codes. Sometimes they're there, sometimes they aren't. Sometimes the YouTuber made them, sometimes they didn't. And then you have to have this description open all the time. And then you have to read, and you have to click on this tiny little link in order to get to the next one. And that isn't always very convenient. So I think most people completely ignored these timestamps, even if the YouTuber took the time to make them. Very few people even knew they were there, and even fewer people, if they knew they were there, would even bother to use them. People would just scan back and forth through the video right here because it was more convenient. But now, on this screen itself, you can see the chapter headings and the time code, and you can actually jump from one to the next and see what you're doing right on the screen. You don't have to open the description. But that's only half of this new system. The other half is even better. So once this line is visible, if you click on that line, a completely new window opens up down here below. I'll click on this, and if you are like me, you will be amazed at what pops up. So let's click, and look at that. All the chapter headings are now on display, each one with the time code, the title of the chapter, and an automatically generated thumbnail from that chapter. So you can actually get a visual picture of what the chapter is about. This one, for example, this chapter called The Bridge Across the Pit at 1531 has a thumbnail showing the warning sign in the cave, warning you that there is a giant pit here. So you don't even have to read the words. You kind of know what these different chapters are about just from scanning the thumbnails. Here you can see that at this point I'm riding my scooter. Here I'm still riding my scooter but arriving at the cave. Here obviously I'm looking at a shrine inside the cave. Now I'm inside the cave proper. So using these thumbnails, you can just quickly jump ahead through the video. So this is the very beginning. In order to use this feature, by the way, the very first time code always has to be 0:00. You have to put that as the first one, and that automatically turns on the chapter feature in YouTube. So YouTubers have to know that trick. If you just put in, for example, these timestamps, the chapters don't appear until you enter this one as your first one. If your first timestamp is 0:00, then YouTube automatically builds the chapter feature. If I did not have that 00 there and I had only these timestamps, nothing would happen. You would just have normal timestamps. So go back to here. Let's click on our line to open up all of our thumbnails, the preview of all the chapters. And now if I click on them, I jump from one to the next. Look at that. Every time I click on a thumbnail, you can see the progress bar changing, and we are jumping ahead in the video. And you can scroll up and down through them. The interesting thing here is that as opposed to the timestamps where you had to click on that tiny link, with this new chapters system, you can click anywhere. You can click directly on the thumbnail. You can go forward or backwards, any direction you'd like. And you can click over here on the text, does the same thing. In fact, you can click anywhere in this area. You can click here or on the time code. It doesn't matter where you click, you always end up going to that chapter. Of course, I'm using a mouse here. I'm using the mouse just so you can see what I'm doing. But of course, if you are on your phone or using a laptop with a touchscreen, you would just be doing all of this with your finger. It works exactly the same way. I'm just using a mouse to show you what I'm doing, and you can follow along. So let's go all the way back to the beginning, 0, 0, just by clicking here. On the progress bar, we go all the way back to 0, 0 at the start of the video. One last thing about this feature, which I find extremely useful and tells me that whoever designed this was really thinking it through, is that when you are playing the video, you can still jump forwards and backwards as much as you like, and the video automatically keeps playing. So when you jump to a new chapter, you don't have to keep hitting the play button. I'll show you how that works. I'll start playing the video, and then as I click on the thumbnails, you'll see that the video just automatically plays at every chapter when we jump to it. So let's start the video.
Well, according to my map check, I am on the right road.
Now I want to jump ahead to when I enter the
I just have to continue going straight,
I just
and
click here.
Here's the main entrance to the cave.
I want to go back to the beginning.
Well, according to my map check, I am on the right road.
There's a point where I find
I just have to continue going straight,
I
and
just click here.
An interesting
It
part
jumps
about this
ahead,
deeper
and the
cave
video
is that
starts
there's actually
playing
quite a few
automatically.
bats. Well, it's time to head out of the cave, I think. Head back to the surface. Well, according to my...
And that's it. That is the sort of new chapters feature in YouTube. I call it sort of new because you could do this in the past using timestamps, but this new updated version of it using these thumbnails, these previews, makes it so much more useful. So basically, wherever you go in YouTube now, whatever videos you're looking at, as soon as you see this line of text at the bottom of the video, you know that chapter headings are available for that video, and then you can scroll ahead through them this way. Or, I find this much more convenient, just click on that to open up this window in the bottom, and now you can watch the video and then just jump around to wherever you want to go.
There's another interesting formation. Here's the main entrance. Well, it's time to head out of the cave, I think.
And back to the beginning.
Well, according to my map...
So that is the chapters feature. So far, I only have it on 2 of my videos, the last 2 that I made. This one about the blue cave, and this long video from the coffee shop, my technology life update and coffee chat. And this feature, of course, is more useful for longer videos than shorter ones.
At the end of that...
So here's this video, and you can see here as well, it has the text at the bottom that tells you that video chapters are available for this video. Just click on that line, and there they are down at the bottom. The very first one, of course, takes you to the beginning of the video. In this chapter, I talk about getting my latest visa extension. So that jumps ahead. I arrive at the coffee shop. I tell the story of going to see the big tree at the national park. Then I start talking about all of my technology misadventures with my phone, with video editing, and then Lazada down there at the bottom. So that Lazada Shopping Adventures chapter starts at 44:53, but you don't have to worry about any of that. If you wanted to go there for whatever reason, you just click anywhere in this area and boom, you jump right to that point. And if the video were playing, it would automatically start playing at that point.
Another technology adventure. In the last few days, I also went on a date. At the end of welcome back. So, in the last few days...
So that's the chapters feature. I plan on doing this for all of my videos in the future. I stopped putting in timestamps in the past simply because it was a lot of work to do, and I had the sense that no one ever used the timestamps anyway. But I think this new chapters feature is quite useful, and I think people that become aware of it will actually use it quite a bit. So I will try to take the time to build this into all the videos that I post on YouTube. All right, that's it. I hope that helps you understand this feature a little bit, and you can use it in the future. See you in the next video.